Hello everybody, welcome back to XBLG and more importantly welcome to The Division. Today we're going to be shining some light onto the Dark Zone, giving you some tips and tricks and some advice on how to bag and tag some of the loot that awaits us. So first things first, I advise on reaching the level cap in the single player. Not only will this give you the chance to bag some decent weapons and items, but it will also give you the feel for the gameplay and get to grips with positioning, which I feel are the two most important aspects of this game. So when entering the Dark Zone, I always suggest going in with someone else. If none of your friends are playing, and if you're feeling brave enough to approach a lone player, click on the right thumbstick and ask them to join your group. 9 times out of 10, they're here to kill NPCs, bag some loot, and gain some Dark Zone credits just the same as you. This will now mean friendly fire will be in effect, and it will be highlighted blue. You will also get a share of each other's XP. Make sure one of the people in the group has the healing dart set as one of their abilities. This thing can be a real lifesaver. So now you have a brother in arms. It's time to get scouting for enemies. There are a lot of spawn points for enemies. These are usually alleyways linking main streets, construction sites or subways. When making contact, first of all, positioning. Make sure you know where the enemies are. I suggest using the radar ability under the text section. This will highlight all threats in a pretty large radius and will give you the chance to get into some decent cover. There's nothing worse than being snuck up by an enemy wielding a fucking baseball bat. So keep an eye on all angles. When in cover, your best bet is to fire on the enemy closest to you, aiming for the head in short bursts to increase accuracy. The weapons in the Division can sometimes have quite the kick. Work your way back through the enemy horde, taking full advantage of all other abilities like the sticky bomb and shield. Grenades are a great way to flush enemies out of cover. So now you've taken out some enemies and gained some loot, it's time to head to the extraction zone. There are 3 different zones, one to the left when you first enter the Dark Zone, one next to the gas station, and one on top of the roof towards the safe room. Of all the extraction zones, the one by the gas station seems to be the most active, so if you feel like you can't trust some of the players on the server, it's always best to go the extra mile and trek to one of the other extraction zones. When you arrive again, check for enemies. NPCs usually hang around the extraction zones, and even worse, rogue players. Scout the area and double check, making sure there's no one who looks like trouble. You can usually tell if a player's there looking to rob you if they are hanging around the extraction zone with no loot. You can tell this by the yellow biohazard container on their back. If you do encounter another player and they look like they're in the same position as you, again, maybe ask them to join the group if you have space. You can always leave again after extraction, or take advantage of the emotes to show that you're not hostile. After holding X and shooting up your flare, it's time to get into some decent cover. A place where you can watch all angles and see down any streets that some players might like to sneak up on you on. A lot of the time NPCs like to spawn during extraction, but they shouldn't be too much of a problem. When the helicopter turns up to take away your hardened loot for some much needed decontamination, it's always best to go one at a time if you're in a group. Make sure your buddies are covering you whilst you extract your items, because this is when you are most vulnerable. You can always double tap A and a direction to roll away and get into cover if you're feeling the situation is too fishy. If your extraction is successful, it will notify you on screen, and your items will be awaiting you back in your stash in your base operations in single player. Once your items are up and away, it's time to get back out there and once again get stuck in. A great way to earn Dark Zone credits is to find Dark Zone keys dropped by enemies to open Dark Zone chests, dotted throughout the area. These will contain 1000 Dark Zone credits and hopefully some decent loot. You can also gain Dark Zone credits by taking out rogue agents. These are players that are fully hostile and looking for blood. But beware, these guys usually travel in packs and are not NPCs. You can identify these guys as their name will be in red and a red skull will show on your minimap. So you're now a Dark Zone veteran, it's time to spend your credits. You can purchase weapons and gear from the vendor shown in purple on the map. You can also head to the safe room and purchase the only 2 weapons in the game if you have the funds. So that's pretty much it from the Dark Zone today guys. I'm super enjoying the Division beta. Let me know in the comments if you are too, and I'll see you all in the next video.